Have you ever stared at one of those tubs of super bright neon powder and just wondered, is this stuff the secret key to my best workout ever, or is it just really expensive Kool-Aid? Well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dive deep into the science of pre-workout supplements. We're going to break down the three most common ingredients to figure out what they're actually doing inside your body and whether they really live up to all that hype. And it all starts right here, doesn't it? It's 5 o'clock. You've had a ridiculously long day, and honestly, the gravity of your couch feels about 10 times stronger than normal. That need for some liquid motivation is something millions of us feel, when we're trying to bridge that huge gap between the tired person we are and the powerhouse we want to be in the gym. But look, just getting through the gym door is only the first battle. The real fight, that happens mid-set. It's when your energy just evaporates, your muscles feel like they're literally on fire, and you physically cannot push anymore. That wall you hit, that's not a lack of willpower. Nope, it's a series of very real physiological things happening deep inside your body. And this is exactly where pre-workout supplements come into the picture, promising to give you the tools to smash right through that wall. I mean, the entire industry is basically built on this one idea, that you can scientifically engineer a better workout by targeting the biological roadblocks that are holding you back. When you strip away all the crazy marketing and flashy labels, most of these popular formulas are really just a cocktail designed to solve three fundamental problems. First, a simple lack of energy and focus. Second, that acidic burn in your muscles that makes you stop. And third, what's basically a traffic jam in your bloodstream that stops fuel and oxygen from getting where they need to go fast. Okay, so let's jump into the first and, let's be honest, the most obvious ingredient, caffeine. It's the part you feel the most, right? It's the one that gives you that initial jolt of energy and focus and gets you all hyped up to train. But here's the thing, it's probably not working the way you think it is. And this right here gets to the absolute heart of how caffeine works. It's not giving you energy, not in the way food does. Instead, think of it like a clever trickster. Caffeine goes into your brain, finds the little receptors that are designed to tell you you're tired, and basically just puts its hands over their ears. So it's not adding any fuel to your tank, it's just disabling the low fuel warning light on your body's dashboard. So how much does it actually take to get a real performance benefit? Well, the science points to a sweet spot of about 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of your body weight. Now, to put that in perspective, for a 180-pound person, that's somewhere between 245 and 490 milligrams, which is way more than you'd get in a standard cup of coffee. But, and this is a big but, there is a serious downside. Caffeine has a really long half-life, which means it hangs around in your system for hours and hours. Just like this user points out, that pre-workout that powered your 7 p.m. leg day could be the very thing that's robbing you of the deep sleep you need for recovery. And that, in the long run, is basically sabotaging your progress. All right, let's move on to the next barrier, that searing, intense burn deep inside your muscles. You know the feeling. It's that sensation that just builds and builds with every single rep until you're forced to drop the weight. Well, the second key ingredient in a lot of pre-workouts is designed to delay that exact moment. So what even is that burn? A lot of people think it's just lactic acid, but it's a bit more complex. During really intense exercise, your muscles start producing hydrogen ions like crazy. This makes the inside of the muscle more acidic, which directly messes with its ability to contract. That's what causes the fatigue and that burning feeling. Luckily, your body has a frontline defender against this acid attack, and it's a molecule called carnosine. The best way to think of it is like a tiny little sponge inside your muscle cells, just soaking up all those hydrogen ions to keep things from getting too acidic too fast. So the more carnosine sponges you have, the longer you can fight off that burn. So how do we get more of this acid-fighting carnosine? Well, we can't just take it directly. But what we can do is give our bodies the key building block it needs to make more, and that's where beta-alanine comes in. By taking it, we're basically telling our body's carnosine factory to ramp up production. More carnosine means you can handle more acid, and that could be the difference between failing at rep 8 and crushing rep 10. Now here's the crucial point. This is for all-out effort in a very specific time frame. All the research shows that beta-alanine really shines in high-intensity stuff that lasts between 1 and 4 minutes. So think less about a long 10K run and more about your heavy weightlifting sets, a 500-meter row, or a really brutal CrossFit workout. That's its sweet spot. All right, so you've tricked your brain into feeling energized, you've buffered the burn in your muscles, but your muscles are still screaming for resources, right? The final piece of this whole pre-workout puzzle is all about logistics. It's about improving the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to those hardworking tissues. The mechanism here is called vasodilation. Basically, the goal is to relax and widen your blood vessels, turning them from little country roads into massive superhighways. This lets more blood rush to your muscles, bringing in a flood of oxygen and fuel while carrying away all the junk. And that feeling of fullness in the muscle, that's what lifters call the pump. Now, to get this whole process started, your body needs a critical signaling molecule called nitric oxide. Your body has its own main built-in way to produce it, but a lot of supplements use this clever workaround, kind of like a backup pathway that uses dietary nitrates, the stuff you find in veggies like beetroot, to create nitric oxide. It's basically an alternate route to get to the same destination. And because this alternate pathway is so effective, nitrate supplementation has become this huge area of research in sports science. I mean, scientists are looking at how it can benefit just about everyone, from endurance runners who want to improve their oxygen use to weightlifters trying to get better blood flow during heavy sets. And this is where it gets really fascinating. It turns out nitric oxide is way more than just a plumbing issue for your blood vessels. It's also a key player deep inside our cellular power plants, the mitochondria. At the right levels, it helps your mitochondria produce energy way more efficiently. But if you get too much of it, it can actually be harmful and interfere with how your cells even breathe. It's a really delicate balancing act.
Okay, so we've covered the energy, the burn, and the pump. We've looked at the science behind how these ingredients are supposed to work. But what's the final verdict from big studies and, the real-world experience of people actually in the gym?
Well, when researchers lump together the results of a ton of studies on nitrates, the picture is a little mixed. But one benefit keeps showing up consistently, a significant increase in your time to exhaustion. So what does that actually mean for you? It means being able to push through that last agonizing minute of a HIIT workout, or maybe holding your pace on the bike just that little bit longer before you completely gas out. And for all you weightlifters out there, the data gets even more specific. As you can see, the clearest win for nitrates is being able to squeeze out more reps before you fail. But the evidence that it's going to make you stronger in terms of pure power or faster in terms of how quickly you can move the weight, that's a lot less convincing. The main benefit is endurance within your set. But here is a really crucial counterpoint. This user actually saw better progress after they stopped using pre-workout. Why? They figured out the supplement was pushing them into a level of intensity that their joints and their recovery just couldn't handle. By taking a smarter, less aggressive approach, they trained more consistently and, in the end, made better gains. It's a powerful reminder that more intensity isn't always the answer. So what does all this mean for what you put in your gym bag? A lot of experienced lifters find they don't really need a fancy, complex formula. For simple energy, it's hard to beat a cup of coffee. For a non-stim pump, beetroot powder is a great natural source of nitrates. And if you want control and to save some cash, some people just buy the raw ingredients like L-citrulline and beta-alanine and make their own. And of course, let's never forget the original pre-workout, a banana and just plain old solid nutrition. In the end, the science is pretty clear. These ingredients aren't magic, but they do have real specific effects on your body. The ultimate question for you is whether those effects line up with your goals, your budget, and your health. The real power isn't just in the powder, it's in understanding how it all works. So now you've got to ask yourself, where are you going to find your edge?